Hey folks, and welcome to this weekly update of Azure news from myself, Sarah Lane. This episode was recorded on the 19th of July 2024. Now in preview, Azure Databox offers cross-region data transfer capabilities. This supports seamless ingestion of on-prem data from source in one country and the data is transferred to a different country or region. So for example, you copy the data from your on-premise in the UK and the data is ingested to the West US Azure region. Now don't worry, the Azure Databox device isn't shipped across boundaries. Instead, it's transported to the Azure data center that is in the same region or country as your on-premise data. And then the data transfer happens across the Azure network, incurring no additional fee. The Redis extension for Azure Functions is now generally available, and this extension can be used as a trigger in Azure Functions, allowing Redis to initiate a serverless workflow. I also want a small plug here, folks, because I released a new video on my YouTube channel this week where I share some top tips for troubleshooting the Azure Arc agent. And this is really a compilation of some of the most common questions or scenarios that I've come across over the last year or so. So do check it out. My channel on YouTube is called Techielass, so hopefully I'll catch you over there if you're not already subscribed to my YouTube channel. So back to the Azure news. Azure Virtual Network Manager's mesh connectivity configuration and direct connectivity option in the hub and spoke connectivity configurations are now generally available in the Azure public regions. So this feature enables a group of virtual networks to directly communicate to each other without an additional hop, ultimately reducing latency and management overhead of your networking. Azure Container Apps now supports peer-to-peer transport layer security, or TLS, encryption at the environment level, and this is generally available within the Azure public regions. And when you enable this feature, all network traffic within the environment will be TLS encrypted with a private certificate that is valid within the Azure Container Apps environment scope. And these certificates are automatically managed by the Azure Container Apps. So obviously alongside this announcement is that Key Vault now supports certificates in Azure Container Apps. Also generally available is the support for ExpressRoute Traffic Collector to monitor your 1 gig plus provider circuits. So we've got some sad news here in terms of some retirements. So this week it was announced that the end of support for Azure Synops runtime for Apache Spark 3.3 will be retired and disabled in March 2024. So you've got a lot of time to try and figure out an appropriate response to that. And I believe that Apache Spark 3.4 support is there within the Azure Synapse, so maybe worth looking at that. Also, it's been announced that the Azure Lab service will be retired in June 2027. And yes, that is June 2027. Alternatives that you might want to look at are the Azure Virtual Desktop, Windows 365, Azure Dev Test Labs, or even Microsoft DevBox. So do plan ahead for that one because 2027 will roll around quite quickly. Thanks for tuning in, folks, and please don't forget to leave me a review, share this podcast, and subscribe on whatever platform you're listening on, and I'll see you all again soon.